The power of prayer. To be able to serve God wholeheartedly and be victorious over Satan, we must seek his help through prayer. Here's Gene.
Look at 1 Samuel 7, 8, and 9. The Israelites said to Samuel, "Don't stop crying out to the Lord our God for us." They really recognize in Samuel, in a sense, their spiritual leader. And in a sense, their human redeemer, not as Christ as our Redeemer, but as a spiritual leader. Don't stop crying out to the Lord our God for us, so that he will save us from the hand of the Philistines. See, they're still deeply troubled by their enemies. And then Samuel took a young lamb, offered it as a whole burnt offering to the Lord. He cried out to the Lord on behalf of Israel, and the Lord answered him. Isn't that a beautiful statement? He cried out to the Lord on behalf of Israel, and the Lord answered him. Incredible statement. Look at this verse, 1 Samuel 7:13. So the Philistines were subdued and did not invade Israel's territory again. The Lord's hand was against the Philistines all of Samuel's life, while he prayed for them, and they responded, and the Lord answered his prayer. And so we see an incredible correlation here, in this sense, that as believers today, we're in a battle. We're not so much in a battle against the Philistines. This was a flesh and blood battle. We see these throughout the time of Israel. But for us, we're in a spiritual battle. And we are to put on the full armor of God, according to Ephesians, so that we can defeat Satan. But notice the capstone at the end of that paragraph in Ephesians 6, verse 18. Pray at all times. He leaves the metaphor of the belt of truth, the breastplate of righteousness, and the helmet, and the feet shod with the gospel of peace, and all those metaphorical pieces of armor, which has spiritual meaning. He leaves the metaphor and he becomes very direct. And here's what Samuel did for Israel. Pray at all times in the Spirit, Paul wrote, with every prayer and request, and stay alert in this with all perseverance and intercession for all the saints. And my question is, why is it so easy to neglect seeking God's help through prayer? Boy, that's a convicting question. I know it is for me. First of all, it takes discipline. And it's so easy to lack discipline. I know that's true in my life. It's easy to rely on our own strength when things are going well, to rely on our own strength, to forget that we need God. And I think another thing we can say is we don't take Satan's cohorts and him as the evil one as seriously as we should. I had an experience just a couple days ago as I was sitting in a men's conference where I was speaking. And as I was sitting there beginning to worship with these men, I began to just sense this, what appeared to be a force that was surrounding me. And again, I just sensed that Satan was trying to discourage me, to impact me. And it made me aware of the fact that I was in Satan's territory, teaching the truth, helping men to come to grips with what God wanted in their lives. And my first inkling is to say, this can't be Satan. That's just me. But the fact of the matter is, as I began to pray, as I began to claim the power of God, as I began to think through the armor of God, as I began to worship the Lord and remind the Lord of what he said in James, draw near to me and resist Satan, he'll flee. And that happened. I just sensed the peace of God. And it just made me aware of the fact that as Christians living in our culture, we don't take Satan seriously sometimes. It's just not in our fabric of our minds. We teach it, we speak it, and yet sometimes I don't think we believe it until we're faced with a crisis or we're faced with the fact that we really need Him. And when we take that seriously, God responds. God answers, just like He answered Samuel's prayer. And that's why He says here in this passage we're to pray and be alert at all times, praying in the Spirit, which means according to the will of God. And God will respond and answer our prayers.